So I started smoking when I was really young, and initially it was like how it is for most people. You look at it, you find it cool, you want to try it. You don't find it anything fascinating when you try it for the first time, but then you keep doing it, and then eventually it becomes something that you depend on. And that happened to me, and like I said, I started very young. And I think in university, when I was just studying, I think that was the time where I was started to smoke almost half a pack of cigarettes. And I think there will be some people who smoke a lot more and some people who smoke less. Depending on who you ask, it's a lot or it's not a lot based on what these people will tell you. But for me, it was definitely a lot. I have asthma, I have shortness of breath, even while shooting this video. And this was the case with me for ever since I was young as well. So having this kind of problems with breathing and having to smoke half a pack, 12 cigarettes was fairly detrimental for my health, but I just kept doing it. And the first time when I left smoking, quotation mark, is when I went down with hepatitis. It was hepatitis E, and I was on the bed. I lost a lot of weight. I was close to dying, literally. It was 2018, and I remember when I woke up from it, it had been like a week since I was on bed, and when I woke up, I realized that I hadn't smoked in a week. Of course, because I was in bed and about to die. So I just asked myself, why don't I extend this break to infinity, right? And that started my first cycle of not smoking. And before that, I never even thought about it. I continued that for more than a year. And I remember June 2019 was not well for me, and a lot of things happened in a very short span of time. So I got out of a long term relationship, and then I was not performing well on my job and I was let go. And then thirdly, I had applied for a few scholarships for my master's degree and I was rejected from all three of those. So career, education, love life, all three of those things, they just went to shit in like 3 months, right? Within 3 months. And I started smoking again at that point, and then I just kept smoking. During COVID, it was rough. I kept smoking. 2021, kept smoking. 2022, kept smoking. 2023, something really interesting happened, and that was the time when I stopped smoking entirely, and I haven't touched a cigarette since then. So what happened was I was sitting with my family, and we just had food, and at that point I hadn't seen my family in a while. I was traveling, and then I came back recently, and I saw them after a long time. And then my sister was in town. This is her place, by the way. So she was in town at that point, and she was also like I had met her after so long, and we were having just a nice conversation over the dinner table. And after finishing food, I just felt the urge to smoke. Like everyone who smokes and is listening to this would realize that this is the urge is the heaviest or the highest when you are done with eating a heavy meal. And I was getting that urge. And at first, it just felt annoying to me. It just felt annoying because I was right where I wanted to be. I was with my family, I was with my mom, I was with my sisters, I was with my niece and nephews, and I just did not want to leave. But the urge was pulling me towards it. So it was kind of annoying at that point. I was like, I don't want to get up, I don't want to leave what I'm doing right now because this is where I'm supposed to be, this is where I want to be. But this urge is making me move and leave this place, It was just an annoying kind of urge. And I went outside on the floor to try to smoke, and then I see my younger sister and my niece outside standing or playing or talking. I don't exactly remember. And then I was like, okay, I can't smoke in front of them because I don't smoke in front of my family. And my mom kind of knew about my smoking habits, but I had never, ever, ever revealed to anyone in my family that I was smoking. So I went in and I went back to my room, and then I went to the bathroom, and I was like, I'm going to smoke here, right? But also, the smoke should not be in the bathroom because that is not nice, of course, and people would know that I'm smoking. So I had to, there was a little window on top, and I just opened that window up. And then I put the toilet seat down and I stood up on the toilet seat, and I was near the window. And I had this cigarette in my hand, and I looked at my pockets and I did not have any lighter at that point. I was like, okay, I always keep a spare lighter right behind, right around the mirror, right? And I opened the mirror cabinet, that had the mirror in front of it, and I took out the lighter and I just lit up the cigarette at that point. And I was also naked. I was not wearing any shirt, and I just started smoking. Started smoke like blowing smoke outside of the window, and then I looked in front of me, and the cabinet mirror was in a position where I it was just half open, and because I was here, I could see myself in a wider frame. So the openness was right in front of me, and I was naked. I was looking at myself in the mirror. I was not healthy at that point, and something snapped in my mind at that point. And I was looking in the mirror, and in that very moment, somehow, whoever I was looking into in the mirror, I couldn't identify them, and it was so bizarre because you know your face. I know my face. I know how I look when I'm not, when I'm overweight, when I'm thin. I still know who I am, right? But in that moment, looking at the guy, the naked person who was really fat, obese, smoking heavily, like this, putting smoke out. I saw that face in the mirror and I could not recognize that person. It was as real as me going into a new country where people look like, not look like where I come from, and I see someone randomly on the road. It was that strange to me, the person that I saw in the mirror. And in the very moment, I was just telling myself, whoever's in the mirror right now, whoever I'm seeing right now, the smoking guy, the obese guy, this is not me. I don't recognize this person. This is the first time I'm looking into the face of this human that is standing in front of me in the mirror, and also the true self that I am. I'm completely opposite than this guy. I'm healthy. I'm a non-smoker. I take care of my body. I exercise. I do all of those things. And it just it just happened. Like, I kept staring at myself in the mirror, but I could not see myself. And I remember just going out, like throwing the cigarette outside, opening my drawer. I had a couple of packs, I think. I broke all of the cigarettes. I threw all of them out. And in the very next hour, I went to the gym downstairs. I took admission and I started working out. That very next hour, I literally started working out. The story is so bizarre because the moment I saw someone in the mirror, the guy who I was looking at, and I literally couldn't recognize this person. And in the next hour, I was a completely different person, and I'm still that person. I never craved a cigarette ever again. Usually, I remember in 2018 when I stopped for the first time, I was miserable. I was always craving it. I was always trying to replace it. I remember drinking a lot of water right after I ate my meal to kind of curb down the urge to smoke. And I was just gulping down a lot of water to kind of put the urge down or make it go away. I don't have a scientific explanation for this, whatever happened, but I am smoke free. So it's almost 2.5 years, and I feel absolutely amazing. I still go to the gym, I exercise, I try to take care of my health, and I've been much better in all of my endeavors since that moment. And I don't know. I don't know what the moral of the story is. I don't know how to replicate that myself or advise you to replicate it. I'm not sure what happened, but I just wanted to share a raw experience that I had that led me to stop smoking. Now it's a habit that is very unattractive to me, and it has stayed that way ever since I had the one on one confrontation with my reflection. So thank you so much for listening to my story. If you enjoyed the story, if you learned something from it, if you have any questions, please like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you in my next video.